I just woke up, it's been 2 hours, and I just got off the bed, hence my eyes, so please understand the situation. Today's topic is very interesting, which is failure, and failure is something that a lot of influencers these days speak about. They speak about it and they say that you should always put yourself back up regardless of what happens to you, which is something very interesting, and you cannot argue against that basically. If you argue against that, you can go ahead and live your miserable life somewhere else. But what they do not make you know or let you know is the fact that you need to experience failure your own way in order to understand what is it and how it feels. I can sit here and give you a fact, which is I've never failed at anything for 24 years of my life up until the last few months of this year. Now, of course, if I give you my examples, they would be nice because you would understand what things I failed at basically, but you will never understand how it felt, regardless of how much I try to make it seem realistic for you. Now this brings us to the third thing, which is always be looking for failure. Because without failure, you do not create character. You do not create ideas. You do not become more smart or more wise. Basically, you do not grow. Now, of course, failure does not have always to be a complete down situation. We all deal with small failures from time to time in our lives. Could be relationships, could be friendships, could be family ships, could be something in school, could be something or whatever. But for me, I have never experienced something that huge that really hit me that big in terms of life. And that is why, up until this year, there were 3 instances that happened one after one after one that completely destroyed my mental. And luckily I understood that I should keep calm, and I gave myself a bit of space and learn from it. Now, of course, failure is not something to be ashamed of. Everyone needs to be dealing with it. In fact, our whole lives are based on something we fail at, because that's how we learn anyway. Without failure, you will never learn. You will never build any character. You will never grow. You will never become a better person. You will never know how to deal with things better the next time. So that is why, for me, trying to dodge failure as much as you can and try to play it safe is the complete dumbest move you can ever pull in your life. Which is unfortunately something that we see a lot. Especially with families that are already big, rich, and whatever, depending on how they see success. And they try their best to make their children play it safe and flow safely throughout life. That is, of course, good. Nobody wants to see any children suffer. You don't want to see your own children suffer. Matter of fact, if you give them what's easy and you just trace the whole path for them, you're making it easier for them. Only one thing that's missing: you strip them down from building the character that they will require to have, or they will be required to have at some point in life. That is why failure is very good. Now, I didn't believe in failure before, which is pretty ironic for me to be speaking about these things right now, just after 3 months of all my chaos have happened, whatever. Or since my chaos happened, there you go. And it took me July and August, which is, we are now in the 1st September. It took me July and August to sit down, relax, give myself some space, and process all of the things that I have gone through. All of the things that I have failed at. Because of course, the more you fail, you need to understand that the more you fail, the more of a step forward you make. Because nobody ever just does it and hit the jackpot straight off the back or straight away. It's impossible. And if it happens, you need to understand that you are extremely lucky. And you should be very glad and proud of that and very happy about that. Now, of course, for the other people, which are 99.999% of society, failure is a daily event. Now, when I say that I did not deal with failure for the past 24 years of me living, because I'm 24, that does not mean that I did not fail friendships, and I did not fail relationships, and I did not fail many other things, projects and whatever. Of course I did, but for me, I never considered them as life failures. I just considered them as life experiences. But when it came to a professional life, when failure started happening, I started considering them as failure because it's my professional life. That was stupid for me, right? And I stepped back and I understood that it is just a part of my life too. Because these failures are no different than relationship failures, than friendship failures, than project failures, than whatever I was doing failures. So just understanding the idea behind failing at something isn't bad. In fact, it is good because it makes you realize things. And I can assure you that after all of these things, because I sat down and I started thinking about how many things I failed at throughout my life, including what happened this year, which is the biggest hit, I started noticing that without these failures, I would have been the person I am today. Matter of fact, I would have been even speaking to you right now. I would have been creating what I am creating right now. I would have been doing what I am doing right now. So from now on, I am actually looking forward to just having more failures, to learn from them. Because at some point, when my life is gonna be completely going huge, it is going to be because I've had a lot of failures before. If I'm having a good relationship right now, let's say for example, or good friendships right now, let's say for example, it is because I've had a lot of failed ones, and it made me learn how to maintain a friendship. If I'm failing at a business before, if I have failed at business before with my whole company and whatnot, it is because the more I fail, the more I don't know how to pitch it, the more I don't know how to do this and this and that and build it and make it grow, is the more I learn how to actually make it grow, is the more ideas I brainstorm. Because if I have an idea, if you have an idea and you put it into work and it turned out to be wrong, you actually understand that it's wrong and you shouldn't be fucking doing it. It's that simple. And you should always keep growing. So moral of the story, so I can go have breakfast finally. Always seek failures. Could be small failures. Always seek failures. But you should completely understand, as I have spoken in the first video about life, you should completely understand. The upward spiral exists. And the downward spiral exists too. It's a yin and yang thing, right? Whenever you go down, you should know for a fact that if you do not get yourself back up and do things that suit you, you will never achieve anything. In my life, I know examples of people, old people with kids, that have had issues back in the day, and they had a downward spiral, and their life just crumbled. Their life was good, but then their life just crumbled. And I know the other side too, which is just a way of thinking, which is why I've spoken about the video that has something related to the brain and how you think and how you should think and what is the correct way of thinking. Of course, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you a conversation that you probably might not have with anyone, and you probably might be having with yourself, honestly. Or maybe you just cannot have it with anyone. So I am here behind your screen, basically speaking to you. It might be good for you, it may be bad for you. It's your decision. You might take it as much as you want, or might take it how you want. And in the other hand, You can hate me, you can love me. In any way, a lot of people don't like my points. Not because there are my points, but because I am too strict with the points. I'm too forward with the points I'm making. So if you are just an individual with a bit of intelligence, you would completely be open to my ideas, regardless of they are, or regardless if you see them good or bad, harsh or not. Because of course I always speak about things positively. Now, regardless, that does not mean that I'm not gonna make failures, I'm not gonna make mistakes. That doesn't mean that my takes are the absolute truth. In fact, they're not. I'm still growing. And in fact, I would love to be wrong in a lot of my takes, just to learn. So, seek failure. And that is why I have even made a video about success. Now, of course, I do not tell you how to become successful. Hell nah. I am not myself yet. In the things that I am seeing as success, in my viewpoint of success, in how I consider myself being successful. But you get the point. So please, all of these videos are related to each other. Each topic that I make is related to one another. So if you want to understand all the fundamentals, please keep on watching the other ones too. That's about it. Let me now go have breakfast. Thank you.